Hey everyone, in this episode we're taking a look at Ralph Breaks the Internet. We'll explore the characters, the cameos in the internet, and we'll compare it to the first one. All that and more in episode 95 of the Reel-ists podcast. Hello, fellow listeners. Welcome. My name is Oscar.
My name is Donald.
And
Donnie. My name is Donnie. Sorry.
I like an identity crisis there. But yes, that is Donnie,
like
right?
a possession over here. My name is Donnie.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Who do we have here tonight? Do we have Donald or Donnie?
It's
Sounds like Donnie.
Who's here with us tonight? As we light the candles.
And we have our producer, Ruben, here as well.
Hello.
And so, Ruben says hi, or hello, as usual. But yes, welcome to this episode. This is the Reel-ists podcast. Hopefully this is a recurring listen. But if not, if this is your first time, we hope you enjoy this episode and stick around for more episodes, because there's another one right after this one.
There is.
And then next week, there'll be another one after these.
There's going to be 2 more next week.
And
then the next week. And the next week.
5 years later. We'll continue on. But yes, so today we're going to be taking a look at Ralph Breaks the Internet, a.k.a. Wreck-It Ralph 2. And it's going to be a spoiler discussion, so if you have not seen it, you do what you want. Do what you want to do.
Whatever makes you happy.
At the very least, you clicked on us, so we support that, and we appreciate, taking the time, even if it was just these 30 seconds that we just did. But yes, so without further ado, Donnie, go ahead and take it away with our quick thoughts.
So this was nice. This was pleasant. I'm gonna admit something to y'all. I pulled a Incredibles move here. I watched the first Wreck-It Ralph film the night before we went and saw Ralph Breaks the Internet. So I didn't have to wait, years and years like the rest of the
It was 5.
That's years and years.
I know, but it wasn't like the other one that you had waited.
Oh no, it wasn't like, what was that, like 12 years or whatever?
Incredibles was the one we all
I didn't have to wait 5 years. I just had to wait like 20 hours or something like that. But it was good. I really liked it. I liked that it didn't, sometimes with sequels, they pick up right where they left off, even though years have elapsed. But with this one, it was years that elapsed within the film. So I really appreciated that and noted that right away. I thought it was entertaining for sure. It was definitely like,
I'm getting sound like it's there's a butt coming in.
No. It was definitely a lot thrown at you with this film. A lot of as you said in the intro, like internet. What'd you say?
Internet cameos.
Internet cameos. A lot of pop culture references. A lot of Disney. A lot of just everything you see on the internet. It was I can't even talk. It was in this film, and it was nice. It was nice. It was really cool, and it was really it was a lot though. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. At least for me personally, I know it's called Ralph Breaks the Internet. Obviously, we're gonna be in the internet world, but it was like a buffet. I just felt like it was a buffet, and I was getting fed a lot of things, but nonetheless, it was really entertaining, and I really did like it.
All right, perfect. For those that have been stuck on the internet and haven't been seeing what's coming out, this movie is a sequel to Wreck-It Ralph that came out actually in 2012, so it was 6 years, not 5. But yes, Ralph Breaks the Internet is about the 6 years after the events of the first one. Ralph and Vanellope, now friends, discover a Wi-Fi router in their arcade, leading them into a new adventure. That is the description on IMDb. This movie does star John C. Reilly, Sarah Silverman, Gal Gadot, Taraji P. Henson, and so on and so forth. A lot of good, really recognizable actors and actresses. Directed by Phil Johnston and Rich Moore. So that is our breakdown of that movie. The listing of...
Whoa, you wrapping up the episode already? That's what it sounded like.
Yeah, I meant like that's the movie breakdown of like who stars and what's it about and all that stuff, all that fun stuff. But yeah, so personally, this one was enjoyable. I was disappointed in more things than anything else. The most thing that I can't even talk either. The biggest thing here that was disappointing was the lack of Fix-It Felix and his partner. What is it, Sergeant Calhoun? Yeah. That relationship was one of the highlights of the first one. It was unexpected too. I didn't never think they were going to be together in the first one, and to see that develop was a positive in the first one. And this one they get sidelined for just the internet. Like the internet really hogs the entire movie, and then the third act to me fell flat. You know, I understood the message they were going for, but it did not hit me where it should have.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more details about that, but. It's enjoyable. It's not to say that, you know, I walked away wanting my money back. I enjoyed the references, the cameos of the internet, of the Google, Twitter making a little appearance, and how the search bar works and all that little fun stuff. I thought it was really well thought out for that part of it, of the internet, of how it would work in terms of fictional, in terms of being able to bring it to screen. I thought they did a really excellent job of that. And the characters were, you know, the same. If the thing is, me and Donnie watched the first one, so we felt like it was like a very like immediate follow-up. Like we didn't have that like, what was Ralph like in the first one?
Yeah, we didn't have to like try to piece together like, you know.
We were just like, oh yes, everything's fresh in the mind. We're like, let's go. We know everything. But yeah, so it was still enjoyable. I definitely will say, if you liked the first one, you probably will be at least enjoying the second one. Whether it'll be your favorite, I don't think it would happen to many, but there might be a few that find this one better than the first. So I guess that's going to be our first question here. The biggest question of the night, or not the night, the biggest question of the episode is, Donnie, did you like the first one better, or was Ralph Breaks the Internet better than the first?
I thought this was a really good follow-up to the first one. However, I think I personally enjoyed the first one better. Because I felt like the plot was more organized, and like the mission I call it, but the what they were trying to do in the first film, like that was always clear. Whereas this one, they were trying to they were going into the internet to get this like handle that was a part of Vanellope's game, so that her game wouldn't die, or so it wouldn't get sold for parts or whatever. And then they got it, but then it kind of slightly took a different direction with that third act, with the virus coming into play, and then he was trying to destroy everything.
Yeah.
And I just felt like they were, I don't know, I felt like, and you and me and Danny had talked about it, but I felt like they had extended the movie a little longer than it needed to be. Like I feel like they could have wrapped it up a little sooner.
It was like a few minutes shy of 2 hours, so yeah, it could have been like an hour and 30.
They could have shaved. I feel like we didn't need that last, not the whole act, but the last kind of conflict, opponent. Yeah. The last. Yeah. We didn't need it. All right.
Straight to the point.
But yeah, I mean, I don't like that Fix-It Felix and his woman, his bae, got sidetracked like that, you know, because that was, I mean, Fix-It Felix was a large piece in the puzzle of this whole movie, you know, in general, and then within the first one. So I felt like he kind of got shut out. So I will say, for those reasons, I'm out. No,
I'm out.
For those reasons, I do like the first one better. However, this is not to say this one was a bad film. It was nice, and it was fun and engaging, and I feel like they definitely are capturing the what am I trying to say? Like the energy that they want for this audience. What I mean by that is, like, kids nowadays, when they're watching animation, everything's like, you know, like fast talking and fast shooting and all these things going on, kind of ADHD on screen, to try to capture the audience and capture young viewers. And I feel like I honestly feel like with this film, that's what I was getting. Like, it's like, ooh, don't look away. Like, and it did work for a lot of things. It was fun. The whole internet and all the things we saw, we were going, ooh, oh, look at that. Oh, look, Google. Oh, look, Amazon. Oh, look, search bar. And maybe that definitely speaks to the kids nowadays. But I feel like the first film, they weren't trying to do that. Like, there were things that made you go ooh and ah, but it wasn't so, kind kind of like all over the place. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? I feel like
It
I'm
does.
rambling here.
No, to pick off where you're going with, I definitely agree with many of those things, because I get the internet is big and there's so many things you can do, and it's hard to probably represent all of that in a cohesive storyline, and I feel like that's okay. I don't think this movie needed to touch every single thing of the internet. I feel like it could have just been. It would have been fine with kind of just focusing on they needed to get that piece to get it repaired for Vanellope's arcade game.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would have been an okay plot line. Sure, maybe the little bit of her seeing Slaughter Race and seeing how it's a much different. Online experience is much better because it's 24 hours and it doesn't end. That part was fine, absolutely. We didn't need to go to the dark web. That was not needed at all. Mm-hmm. Like I get the reference that's exist in real life, but it didn't add anything other than trying to add some humor to otherwise.
It's like the writers like watched Unfriended the Dark Web, and they're like, oh, we should make a reference to that in this film too.
But yeah, like they needed to make a reference to every aspect of it, and I get it to some extent because this is the only movie you're gonna get, really. You don't want to mess it up and be like, oh, we should have included that. But I feel like we don't want to see this movie because we wanted to see the internet come to life. We went because we liked Ralph and Vanellope and we're wanting to go on the journey with them.
Yeah.
That just happens to go to the internet. So there was some things that just was like, you didn't need to do this, and there were some things that just weren't making sense. The biggest thing to me, I think, is just that third act, and the ending to me is what didn't land. Whereas the first one, as you said, was cohesive and it managed to really not just introduce you to arcade games. If you're not familiar, if you are familiar, awesome, you get the references. But it really just incorporated a universe that you can enjoy. Mm-hmm. Despite having a lot of characters in that movie, in the first one, that you're like, oh, that's Bowser, oh, that's Sonic, oh, that's Pac-Man's enemy, or even Pac-Man himself, you were still able to just appreciate Sugar Rush and appreciate Fix-It Felix Jr., those games and what they provided, and even Hero's Duty. Like, you were able to appreciate those versus the internet, where it just felt like we were just randomly going, wherever the plot needed us to go rather than a natural place to go. Like, to me, Slaughterhouse made sense.
Yeah.
eBay made sense.
Mm-hmm.
But the dark web was just one that did not make sense.
Right.
It was just like, that was unnecessary. When they split is when it started to lose its like, I don't want to say interest, but it started to lose its lasting appeal. But yeah, so to me, it does not beat the first one. The first one was a lot more better. And I feel like I would see myself watching the first one more often. Mm-hmm. I think I might watch the second one for like the internet references and those kinds of little highlights. But overall, I think the first one would be more repeated viewing for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I wanted to ask, just to clarify, because I think I've forgotten, but the reason that Vanellope ended up going to the Disney fan page and meeting up with the princesses, what was that for again? Like, why did she have to go there?
She went to Oh My Disney because they needed to get more searches, and Vanellope wanted to go, or more clicks for Ralph's videos.
Right.
And Vanellope wanted to go to Slaughter Race, but Ralph was like, no, we're going to find you somewhere that's friendly and happy and all this good stuff. And My Disney was that source.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Even I will say I did enjoy that scene, like the whole like seeing all the Disney princesses and
Marvel and Pixar and Star Wars.
Yeah, it was nice. It was sweet, and funny and endearing and just cool to see them all in the same room. But I also feel like it was kind of I feel like it was just a very, very gimmicky move for them to like throw that in there as well. It's like I can relate it to like when you're cooking and you want to like amp up a dish, so you just throw bacon in it because everybody loves bacon. It's like a cheat move. It's like you're not doing something really fresh or creative. It's like a go-to.
Yeah.
So I felt like that whole, I don't know how to feel about it. I liked the scene, so I guess obviously it worked because I liked it, but at the same time I was just like, you're trying to fill your seats. What any movie does, I know. You're trying to like, obviously you want to make a big profit, so you're trying to
and
fill
the
as
first
many
one
seats as you can, but I feel like they're like, oh, if we because then it's like and you know, and that was heavily promoted in the trailer too, that specifically with all the princesses,
Right.
and you know that's gonna gain, you know, attention from everybody because princesses starting all the way back from like what 1960s or whatever, I don't know,
Earlier,
but yeah, 30s maybe.
Yeah.
So it's like you're gonna get everybody go, ooh, oh, Cinderella, ooh, Pocahontas, ooh, Jasmine.
I mean,
ooh.
and there was a few things that were special about that. Was one, a lot of, well, I think most, maybe like one or two, the voice actresses returned for their character, so
Which was cool.
You got to hear them again, kind of thing. But little things like that. But yeah, absolutely, I 100% agree with you. Or it was, I still question why Vin Diesel is credited for Groot when I was just like, there was nothing like. I don't know. I'm really curious to see whether he got paid because I mean I know his character says the same thing, but you could have easily taken a sample from like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and just placed it there. But I was like, okay,
Yeah.
but no, that is a very interesting thing about the part you mentioned because the first one was a lot more. It's a bonus treat if you can recognize these characters and they didn't drive the story versus this one was part of the plot. And so, yeah, they advertise it with saying, you're going to see the princesses again. Oh, you're going to see a little bit of Star Wars. What other, characters are you going to see? That, to me, was probably where it was showing that Disney, one, didn't have the full confidence to advertise the movie without it. And two, that they really wanted to meet their Thanksgiving numbers in order to continue their success on Thanksgiving week. And the first one didn't do too well. It did good, but it didn't do too well with box office numbers. So they didn't even have that like comfort to be like, oh, the first one did well, maybe this one would do well. So I understand that, but yeah, I do
something
agree.
I noticed.
It was something that was not needed, like the Google and Twitter cameos and Amazon, like those. You were just like, it was really brief. It was like you see it's there, you recognize what it is, you appreciate what they came up with.
Yeah,
like the birds.
I love the Twitter one. That
Yeah.
was great. I loved it. I ate that up. Yeah,
yeah, and it was like
and they're tweeting the same thing, chirping the same image or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, totally get it. Loved it.
Right. So that was the thing.
The pop-ups,
ads,
yeah.
That was hilarious. I think you were cracking up at one of the
I was dying.
pop-ups because it's relevant. It's like it's
six child stars who something.
Yeah, and you never guess.
Or number 3 will shock you or
Yeah.
something like that. It's so totally relevant. I mean,
Yeah.
This is what I see on my freaking computer every time I log on. So
Exactly. So there's a lot of relevance, and they did good job bringing the internet to life. But it should have been secondary. If anything, it should have been background versus being part of the plot too much and too often. Like I think the original stuff. That's why I think Slaughter Race works. Because it's not using something we already know and love, and
it makes sense.
Yeah,
like it made sense why they were there.
Absolutely right.
And I loved the animation of the whole film was great. I just want to throw that out there. Like I thought,
absolutely,
it was so good. Like definitely a best animated film Oscar nominee.
I was about to say, whoa. I was like, they're making a bold statement there.
No, not that they're gonna win, but I'll be for sure they're gonna get nominated. Loved the look of just everything, even like when they went into the game, and you totally felt like the game, like the visuals, the look of it,
even the player characters and the avatars of
how they moved and yeah, it was very very accurate, very very nicely done.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you think about? There was some that were saying the development for Ralph and Vanellope went backwards a little bit because there was a little bit of understanding for each of them, and then the first one kind of seemed they went back to like being a dependent. Well, Ralph mainly needing to be dependent and can't let go of Vanellope, but the first one never indicated that that's how he was. It was just more of like he knows he's not a bad guy and he has people that care for him. But they never made it seem like, oh, the relationship is inseparable, like kind of thing. So how do you feel about that? Because that was something that was a lot of people mentioning was just like Ralph's character didn't connect to the first one even. So
yeah, I mean, I could kind of see that what people are saying about I mean, it does kind of seem like a codependent relationship, but not even so much from Vanellope's side as it is from Ralph's side. Like I feel like Ralph was very 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 big on trying to keep Vanellope around and close by, and really I think he just you know, he never really had in the first one. Like he didn't have any friends. Like the only people he could really talk to was that that group that he would go to, the Villains Anonymous group that he could go to. But it's like he didn't really have like a real close person he could call a friend until he met Vanellope. So, and it seemed like that they, you know, like you said, he was trying to protest that he wasn't a villain. He was a good guy. And I think with this one, it became more so like Ralph just wants to keep Vanellope around and he's going to do whatever he needs to do to make sure it happens, but it comes off a little overbearing.
Yeah.
So I could see that kind of backward slide that people are talking about. I don't think it's like that crazy, like it's that big of a deal where we...
Also 6 years. They said it was 6 years.
Right, 6 years.
Said.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
real time.
right.
So we wouldn't, it's not like the next day.
Yeah, I
True.
mean, they would have developed even a closer, stronger bond over 6 years, obviously, and you know. So I mean, I don't think people should read too much. Just let them be.
You know, the thing that I probably would say why they highlighted that was because the third act is Ralph's insecurities as the villain, being the virus.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what highlighted it more. That it was just like Ralph in itself was willing to cause, you know, Vanellope to lose what she wants just so he doesn't lose her.
Mm-hmm.
And I get the message about the friendship, and I believe it was what was it? I forgot. Gal Gadot's characters mentions that it was like that friendship doesn't mean you have to have a passion about the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the themes was touched on was really, you know, insightful for those, especially for young ones watching that can learn that, you know, you don't have to do exactly what your friends are doing in order to continue being their friends.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that third act really successfully nailed that. I feel like they could have found a better way to really showcase that. And to be honest, the Vanellope's choice to stay in Slaughter Race doesn't make sense. I know she got added to the code of the game, but visually she is a complete different character.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't
stands out like a sore thumb.
Like if anything, they should have the game should have changed her when they changed her code to make her look more like, you know,
to give her
like
a
she
more
grew up
slaughterhouse look.
Yeah.
And to not look like she came from Sugar Rush.
Right, exactly. To me, I would have been like, if I was a developer and I saw that, I would go and be like, well, let me just take her off and reboot the system. I feel like I wouldn't allow that.
But then I guess we would feel like, I mean, because there's no way you would have to age her, I guess, to make her look like she belonged in the video game.
Which would be fine. It would show that.
Well, I don't know that I'd be fine with that, though. If they changed Vanellope's look, I think a lot of people would be like, we're losing this sweet little precious character, and now she's, I don't know.
She's grown up.
I mean,
well,
yeah,
you know what they could have done.
I would have a hard time with that.
What they could have done, they could have left her go in the game as she was, and then when he checks in on her, she's slowly growing up. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree. Definitely, just putting her as is in that game, it didn't. They should have. Something should have been done. I just don't know what.
And the whole there's so many different racers in Sugar Rush that they won't notice. She was the popular one. People chose her, so I feel like they would still report it to Ludwig, and he would see oh, she's not there. Yeah, let me reboot this or something, and it would cause problem. I think her disappearance was going to cause more problems than she made it seem like it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand if she was one of the other racers that was, you know, a nobody in that game, and she was okay with it, I guess. And then she left, but she was a big character in her own video game series that it would have been reported. Obviously, I don't think the solution would have been oh, therefore we're going to unplug the game. But I feel like they would have done something to try to fix it or get her back. And then Ralph's going to have to go get her because they're going to close Sugar Rush if she's not in it or something.
Right.
I probably just told you the plan for the third one. If there is a third one. But yeah, so I don't know. To me, that whole, the message was great. I don't think it was executed well. I totally, you know, if this was another movie and the character decided to leave their home, it makes sense. But for a video game character to leave their video game, to me, this doesn't make sense.
I mean, I get you. I didn't personally think she was. I knew she was. I mean, they kind of alluded to it with her being like, "Oh, sometimes I get tired of the same old thing," and blah blah blah.
This is where.
But I didn't think she was gonna. I didn't think she was gonna be completely just abandon Sugar Rush and be like, oh, okay, this game I fit in way more better.
You don't even fit in. You just have
Or
that
how-
free spirit mind.
Yeah.
This is where like
Maybe the third one could be like she thought, the grass was greener. She thought she was going to live it up in Slaughterhouse, but realized that's not where she belongs.
Yeah.
And
it
then the
could
third
be.
one's theme could be like, oh, staying true to who you are and always, hold true to your core values and your roots and remember your past. And
if you don't have a passion about what your friends are also passionate about, then they're not really your friend. Like complete reverse.
Damn.
I mean, if they had Tim Allen to do Buzz Lightyear, they should have got Tom Hanks to do Woody, and then Woody should have been like, "You are a video game character."
Yeah.
They should have had that kind of at least reference.
Who else was it? Yeah, there were so many characters, and I can't even I'm trying to think.
There was a Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah, there was a Stan Lee cameo.
Which I think like every theater.
There was it was the fox from
Nick Wilde, yes, from Zootopia.
Zootopia. There was just so many. Like I can't even recall.
Yeah, there
all
was
of them.
Grumpy. There was
Yeah.
Eeyore.
You're gonna say when
There's
Stan Lee
Dumbo.
appeared and everyone went, oh.
Like I feel like that's
I'm sure
every
that
first showing. Yeah.
I'm sure every
It was
or
just-
either that or they applauded.
All right, it was a very touching moment to not even they obviously they didn't intend to be like that moment, but it worked out in itself in that way.
Yeah,
Because he didn't even talk. He just turned around. Or did he talk? I don't know if did he say something?
I feel like he said something, but it was so brief.
Yeah.
All of those little cameos in that scene were super brief.
My problem was that they only had Iron Man, and they didn't have Captain America. They didn't have Spider-Man.
I mean, I was okay with it, so. Just kidding.
And they had Dumbo. They had I think did they have the Muppets logo in
What I was upset about was that they only gave Princess Jasmine literally like one line. That's it. I don't even remember what she said.
To be fair,
But they had Little Mermaid over here singing a full on damn song.
That was funny. That was really funny.
Jasmine could have sang it.
she could have, but they
No, I did love that because I love Part of Your World. Like, so when she started singing in that melody, I was like, oh my god, this is great. Speaking of songs,
yeah, that was a surprise for them for this movie was Vanellope song.
yeah.
Which I totally understand, but again I feel like it was not needed in the movie.
Oh, I loved it.
It was a good song, but it was just not needed. It was slowing down the movie to extend the movie, and it felt like I don't know. It wasn't speeding up the movie. It wasn't like doing that comment like the song is helping you understand what the scene is going for or like what the movie's going for. It was just one of those like I want to make fun of the princess music.
I mean, when the Little Mermaid broke into song and then she was like, wait, so you guys just start singing about what's going on and music starts playing?
Yeah.
Like it seemed like she was interested in wanting her to have a song. So when she did get a song, I was really excited about it. If they didn't like kind of allude to that or have her question about Little Mermaid song, then it wouldn't have made sense, I feel like, because it would have just been random. But it seemed like she wanted, to have a song, but from that princess scene. So
yeah.
But I liked it. I really liked. I liked the words. I thought it was just clever, and it was a good sounding song. Like it wasn't like I mean, I don't know the words, but it wasn't like it was just we just need a song. Like
But I don't remember
it
the
sounded
words.
like it could be a Disney princess song,
Or except the words part.
except the words, but like the sound of it, the
Right.
orchestration.
Well,
of
it was.
the
I think it was done
composition.
by one of the composers who's
Yeah.
done princesses songs before.
Right.
But
So I mean, I really really liked it. Probably going to be a best song nominee
probably gonna win
at the
over-
2019 Oscars. I'm just
over A Star Is
giving
Born.
my little my early Oscar contenders out.
Get ready, Donnie, because clearly Disney can beat other musical numbers. So say goodbye to A Star Is Born.
Oh my god.
They've done it.
Well, yeah. Why would you? Me and Ruben look at each other like, oh my god.
Well, they did it to last year or
They
this
sure
year.
did.
So
Let's not talk about that.
no, we're gonna talk about.
It's gonna upset me.
Get your thoughts ready on that for next year. But yes. So was there anything that was a favorite scene or anything that stood out to you?
I think just when they first got to the internet, I think was really exciting because like I said, you saw all the companies' logos everywhere, and it was really funny with the whole search bar when he was trying to guess what they were gonna say, and with all the pop-up people standing outside, and I think it just that was a really fun scene to watch because they were just able to personify the internet in a really entertaining way, and visually it looked beautiful. It was beautiful to look at, just to watch. So I think that whole them stepping into the internet for the first time, I think was really fun, and I knew we were gonna run into all kinds of crazy things. So I was really excited in that moment. So yeah.
Okay. My particular favorite scene was, I would say there's a accumulation of different little moments. Like one of the most, like, it was very small, but at the end when we catch up with Felix and with Calhoun, and they're going to tell you the secrets of parenting, and like the cars would pass by, the carts, and so you couldn't hear it. Like that was a nice little funny joke. Little things like that were very memorable to me. Like Eeyore, when he was like right behind Vanellope with his like, hey, which it was just like, I don't know why that was included, but it was nice to see Eeyore. Things like that, little things like that to me were great. I did enjoy the princess scene. I understand that it was a gimmicky, and it was that for that intention to get seats filled in, but it was one that was something I was looking forward to. I didn't think we were going to get a lot more, because obviously that wasn't going to be the main focus of the movie, but their surprise heroic saving Ralph at the end was nice, when they all teamed up, and they really just showcased, like, the princesses are like a team. Like, you can't separate them.
Yeah, they all ride for one another.
Right. It's like once you get accepted into
Princess gang,
the princess mob, which, although they were missing the enchantress, or not enchantress, the enchanted princess. I forgot Giselle. They should have had Giselle in there, but
yeah.
Is she an official princess?
Well, she's an official Disney movie. But the reason why they didn't incorporate her in the parks and stuff was because Amy Adams would have to get like money from it, and they didn't want to pay Amy Adams. So they just said, well, we just won't include her. But like animation form, she should have been fine. But I don't know why they didn't include Giselle.
I didn't know that.
I guess people wouldn't have recognized her. People would have been like, who is that? I didn't see that movie.
Giselle.
They didn't have Elena either. Like they didn't. Yeah, Elena is a TV princess, but not a movie, not a theatrical.
Yeah.
Like, I did like their relaxed clothes, like when they got out of their princess dresses. I loved the what they said on their shirts. A lot of them were like relevant to
their
movies.
stories.
You can buy those shirts. Did you see that?
Oh, I didn't see. You can buy the shirts.
That's Disney, you can buy the shirts.
That's funny.
And you
Makes
can buy
sense.
the dolls with the shirts.
Makes sense.
Wow.
Makes sense. I like the Moana. It's shiny. Just like little things like that. I liked it. It was nice. But yeah, so
it's all in the details. They got a little. They did right with a lot of those little details. They did a really good job.
Absolutely.
Little innuendos, those little Easter eggs.
I agree. Yeah, but so I didn't have a particular favorite scene that I could think of. A lot of it was just like nice little details that I appreciated. So with all that being said, Donnie, this is the big reveal, I guess. What everyone looks forward to. I don't even know. I'm just making that up. Just trying to add to it to give you extra time to think of your score. But what is your score for this movie?
I'd probably give it a 3.5. I think it was a really good film. Like I said, it was a good follow-up. It didn't exceed the first one. The first one, I think, is going to be the better one, the standout.
Oh, what's your score for the first one?
I'd probably give the first one a 4. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
But 3.5, I don't need to explain anything. I already done said it all.
If you want to know why Donnie gave it a 3.5,
if you want to know why,
from the beginning of the episode.
Exactly. Hopefully you were listening, because that's why I'm giving it a 3.5.
He's challenging our listeners to
I don't need to write a synopsis of what I just said, right?
You've been doing it for 94 episodes.
I'm gonna switch it up.
But I'm actually going to give this one a 3 out of 5. I just don't feel like it's going to stick to me in the long run. I feel like this movie was very similar, not necessarily visually, because they spent, a lot more quality time getting the animation well, but it felt like it was one of those sequels that go to DVD, like the older films. It felt like it was a little bit more of that. I feel like it was just a little bit over. I mean, it was a little bit better, and they thought a little bit more about this movie than they probably did with the sequels. This is actually the first movie that Disney Animation Studios did a sequel for theatrical release. So there's some fun facts for you. You can share that with people if you want to.
Awesome.
But yeah, so to me, it was a little bit better than the straight to DVD sequels from a lot of the other great movies. But it just, the third act to me didn't stick. A lot of the plot points just were entertaining, but it just felt like it was a collection of moments rather than a cohesive story that we wanted to follow. 'Cause to me, like, the movie should have ended into some capacity with them getting the wheel back for Vanellope's character. Maybe a little bit of conflict of Vanellope loving Slaughter Race. That was fine, but the whole insecurities virus and the whole dark web and all that little stuff, I didn't think it clicked. The first one I would give a 4.5 because it was really just well thought of, story-wise, character-wise, animation-wise. A lot of them, I felt like that one was really an original idea, and this one was kind of more of like, what can we do for a sequel that will connect with people that want to go see it? And they thought the internet, and then they thought like cameos from Disney characters and princesses and all the references. So
I almost feel like there was another like script written for a sequel that probably was more creative and more original, but this one was gonna be for sure like get seats in the house and sell tickets. So they're like, you know what, that's a great idea, but we're gonna go with this one,
right?
Because we need to make a profit.
Sounds like the other sequels, but yeah, we'll see what everyone else thinks, I guess, right? I mean, that was just Donnie and I's opinion.
Yeah.
Listeners, let us know what you thought of the movie. Let us know if you liked it, thought it was okay, didn't like it. Let us know if you liked it over the first one, and explain why, so me and Donnie can just be, more aware of why you liked it over the first one. Ruben, did you like this one over the first one? Ruben says no. So we're 0 for 3 on this one being better than the first one. But yeah, definitely leave us your thoughts. We'd love to hear them. And don't forget, you can find us on social media on Fritter. Apparently that was one that was not on Ralph Breaks the Internet. Facebook and Twitter and Instagram at Team Reel-ists, Team REELASTS, no dash. And you can also check us out on YouTube and leave some comments there. If you would like to review us, you can do so on iTunes, and we do appreciate every review. Just to kind of give us a little check. What was it? Like, what do they call it? Not a reality check, but there's another one. A fact check, I guess. Some kind of like, so we can just see where we're at with our listeners. Is there a terminology for that?
No, I don't think so.
Well, so you can fact check. I'm not fact check because I don't even know what it's.
I'm trying to figure out what you're trying to say, but
so we can just have that,
so they can like check in.
No, like, so we can just know what our listeners are thinking of our podcast, so they can be like, oh, you guys distract yourself from the reviewing it, or something like something like that. Like, just keeps us aware of. Yeah, there you go. Just like give some perspective. Okay. There you go.
Bam. Thank you, Ruben.
Boom. But yes, thank you for tuning into this episode, everyone. Until next time.
See you later.